No. Baby sun roses and crusted cheese. The ones that look like Dracula's. They're like slide, slide. Lovely gentleman, I will. We're good. We're good. Do we need more space? All right. How about this? Bethany, up, if you don't mind. Don't go any further than that. Good boy. Tayden, yo, knock it off. Yeah, sure. Pictures. Get up, Ryan. Thank you, darling. Would you send me those photos?
The presentation will begin in 1 minute. Our ceremony will begin in 1 minute. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test. Right there, that's good.
If there's an emergency and anyone's about to pass out, it's here. No.
May I have your attention, please? Good morning. I'm Cadet Braden Griffith, the battalion commander of the Trojan JROTC Battalion. I would like to welcome everyone to our 11th annual West Brunswick High School Veterans Day ceremony. Over the past few weeks, the JROTC program, dance team, band, and chorus have all collaborated to create this ceremony in honor of our veterans. So please grant us your undivided attention. Today, we are honored to have with us Colonel Jim Rupp-Calvis, our keynote speaker, Chairman, Brunswick County School Board, Lieutenant Steve Barger, board members, Mr. Ed Lemon, Mr. Steve Gainey, Ms. Catherine Cook, Superintendent, Brunswick County Schools, Mr. Dale Cole, and Assistant Superintendents, Ms. Molly White and Mr. Jonathan Pascal. Thanks for being with us today. We're honored by your attendance. A hearty appreciation goes out to our local veterans organizations. Holden Beach VFW Post 8866, Calabash VFW Post 7288, Calabash American Legion Post 503, and Rivers Edge Veterans Association. They are under the leadership of John Prine, Mike DeShara, Chuck Good, and Nick McKaylee, respectively. We appreciate your presence today and your monetary and academic support of the Trojan JROTC Battalion. Will everyone please rise and remain standing for the presentation of colors, the national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, and the posting of colors. If you will, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I don't know why.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Permission granted. You may now take your seats. I will now be followed by Principal Dalton.
Students, staff, and distinguished guests, welcome to the 2024 Veterans Day Remembrance Ceremony, an annual tradition at West Brunswick High School. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to speak to you on such a momentous occasion. This year's ceremony is actually the 11th annual ceremony at West Brunswick High School and represents the longest running ceremony of its kind within Brunswick County Schools. And like so many things we do here at WBHS, this event represents tremendous collaboration and teamwork among members of our school community. Without question, special recognition is in order for the WBHS JROTC program for all that goes into planning and implementing such an important ceremony, as well as to the members of our band, chorus, and dance programs for their involvement to help ensure this ceremony lives up to the tradition and expectation that has been established at WBHS and one that is worthy of such a special occasion. I would also like to recognize our strategic partners who are in attendance today for their support of the WBHS JROTC program and in making today's ceremony possible. Special thanks once again are in order for the Holden Beach VFW, Calabash VFW, Calabash American Legion, and the River's Edge Veterans Organization. Please join me in a round of applause for these organizations and their members, past and present. And before I go any further, I would like to recognize a very important group. At this time, I would ask that any veterans in attendance please stand. Please join me in giving our veterans a well-deserved round of applause. On behalf of West Brunswick High School and everyone in attendance today, both in person and virtually, I would like to thank you for your service to our country and the sacrifices you have made in order to ensure our safety, our freedoms, and our way of life. Veterans Day is observed each year to celebrate and honor our veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. And ceremonies such as these allow us to join in that celebration and to recognize and show our humble appreciation to those individuals who have unselfishly placed their lives on the line for our freedoms. I encourage everyone in attendance today to reflect not just on the magnitude of this occasion, but also on the commitment, dedication, and sacrifice our veterans have made in the name of patriotism, love of country, and common good. While this ceremony provides a valuable opportunity to pay our respects to those who have served, and to stand united in respect for our veterans, I encourage you all to remember and appreciate our veterans and the sacrifices they have made, not just on Veterans Day, but each and every day of the year. I would like to extend some additional appreciation to the following individuals for their support of today's ceremony. Thank you to those leaders from Brunswick County Schools who are in attendance today for their support of our school and this ceremony. Thanks are also in order to Colonel Retired Jim Ripcalvis, our keynote speaker, Ms. Sue O'Gwen and Ms. Kim Brandt from Brunswick Quilters, Mr. Dale Smith and Mr. Chuck Good from American Legion Post 503, Mr. Jim Milstead and Mr. Mike DeShera from VFW Post 7288, Mr. Nick McCall from Rivers Edge Veterans, and Mr. Frank Stritter from Holden Beach VFW. Brigadier General Retired Wayne Grigsby and Mr. Nathan Evers from Focus Broadband. And lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't extend my gratitude to another very important group. I would like to recognize the leaders of the WBHS JROTC program, Colonel Retired Joseph Callisto and Chief Warrant Officer 4 Travis Goss. Thank you for all the work that went into planning today's event and for all that you do to provide valuable opportunities for learning and leadership for our students. And once again, thank you to our veterans.
Veterans Day, formerly known as Armistice Day, was originally set as a U.S. legal holiday to honor the end of World War I, which officially took place on November 11, 1918. In legislation that was passed in 1938, the 11th of November was dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be hereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. As such, this new legal holiday honored World War I veterans. In 1954, having been through both World War II and the Korean War, the 83rd U.S. Congress, at the urging of the veteran service organizations, amended the Act of 1938 by striking out the word armistice and inserting the word veterans. With the approval of this legislation on June 1st, 1954, November 11th became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. In 1968, the Uniforms Holiday Bill ensured 3-day weekends for federal employees by celebrating 4 national holidays on Mondays: Washington's birthday, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and Columbus Day. Under this bill, Veterans Day was moved to the last Monday of October. Many states did not agree with this decision and continued to celebrate the holiday on its original date. The first Veterans Day under the new law was observed with much confusion on October 25th, 1971. Finally, on September 20th, 1975, President Gerald R. Ford signed a law which returned the annual observance of Veterans Day to its original date of November 11th, beginning in 1978. Since then, the Veterans Day holiday has been observed on November 11th.
Next up is the West Brunswick High School Band with their performance of God Bless America. now introduce First Sergeant retired Herb Lynch as he performs a toast to the flag. The poem was written by journalist, editor, freelance writer, and poet John Daly. On June 14, 1917, to mark the first Flag Day. As a World War I infantryman, Mr. Daly's poem reflects pride of military service, country, and flag.
This flag that you see before you was placed in effect by our Congress July 4th, 1912, and was taken down July 4th, 1959. All of our flags that fly throughout our country are placed in effect on July 4th. The flag that you see that is flying or sailing before us right now is the 48 Star flag. As he just got through pointing out, John Daly wrote this poem, and it was officially sent to the Washington Post and was presented on the eve of the United States going into World War I, the war that was to end all wars. While this flag was being flown over our great nation, more than 300 million people around the world died. So as I am reciting this great poem to you, I would like for you to be thinking about this. During that time period, the entire population of the great state of North Carolina was around 3.5 million people. O flag, you are so great in every fold, so linked to mighty deeds of old, so calm, so firm, so still, so true. My heart swells at the very sight of you, O flag. And there you stand with colors so bright, yet I think it's only right that since you neither brag nor boast, we honor you with this heartfelt toast, O flag. Here's to the red of it. There's not a thread of it, no, nor a shred of it, and all the spread of it from foot to head. But heroes bled for it, faced steel and led for it, precious blood shed for it, bathing it red. Here's to the white of it, thrilled by the sight of it, who knows the right of it, but feels the might of it through day and night. Women who cared for it, made men who dare for it, purity's prayer for it keeps it so white. Here's to the blue of it, beauteous view of it, heavenly hue of it, star-spangled dew of it, constant and true. Diadems gleam for it, state stands supreme for it, liberty's beam for it, brightens the blue. Here's to the whole of it, the stars, the stripes, the body, and the soul of it. Oh, and the roll of it shining through. Hearts in accord for it, swear by their swords for it, thanking the Lord for it, red, white, and blue.
Next up is the West Brunswick JROTC drill team. Permission granted. Next up, we have a very special presentation from the Brunswick Quilters Guild. Their mission statement is designed to educate, promote, and nurture all persons interested in learning, preserving, and advancing the art of quilting, while also providing service to our community. Part of their community service is the annual Quilt of Valor presentations that involve the making and presenting of quilts to local veterans, an event that the West Brunswick High School JROTC Color Guard team has participated in for the past 3 years. This year, in conjunction with Ms. Sue O'Gwyn, the president of the Brunswick Quilters Guild, and Mr. Jim DeCaria, the commander VFW Post 7288 in Calabash, have identified Brigadier General retired Wayne Grigsby as a recipient for today's special presentation. General Grigsby served our nation for over 30 years at all levels of command and responsibilities. Upon retiring from the U.S. Army, he moved to Brunswick County and has been an active member of Calabash VFW Post 7288 and volunteers his time to local charitable organizations. At this time, I would like for General Grigsby and Ms. Sue O'Gwyn to come forward for the presentation of the quilt.
Hi everyone, my name is Sue O'Gwyn and I'm here representing the Brunswick Quilters. We're a quilting guild that encompasses all of Brunswick County. And at last count we had 145 members and growing, so we're quite a large organization. We do tons and tons of charitable outreach, and one of them is for quilts for our veterans. So today I would like to represent all the members of the Brunswick Quilters in saying, Wayne Grigsby, thank you for your service. And we would like to present you today. It is our honor to present you with this red, white, and blue quilt.
It is with great pleasure that I introduce Colonel Retired Jim Rupp-Calvis, our keynote speaker for today's ceremony. Colonel Rupp-Calvis is a 1990 graduate of the United States Army Military Academy and was commissioned a Transportation Corps officer, spending over 30 years serving our nation. His education includes a Bachelor of Science in German from the United States Military Academy, West Point, New York, a Master of Science in Transportation Management from the Naval Postgraduate School, Monterey, California, and a Master of Arts in Strategic Studies from the United States Army War College, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. He commanded at the company, battalion, and brigade level and deployed to Balad, Iraq with the 14th Transportation Battalion Movement Control. He served as the Deputy Commander and Chief of Staff for the 3rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command, Fort Liberty, and Executive Officer to the Deputy Commanding General, United States Army Training and Doctrine Command, Joint Base Langley, Eustis. His awards include the Legion of Merit, 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Bronze Medal Star, 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, and Meritorious Service Medal, which is 3 Oak Leaf Clusters. Upon retiring in 2020, he worked for Kellogg, Brown, and Root as the Logistics Civil Augmentation Program Planner assigned to the United States Army Forces Command G4 at Fort Liberty, North Carolina, and later assigned to the 528th Sustainment Brigade, Special Operations Airborne. In January 2023, he assumed the duty as the installation manager of Military Ocean Terminal Sunny Point. He is married to the former Colleen Smith of Ellicott City, Maryland. They have 3 beautiful daughters, Olivia, 26, Sophia, 23, and Alexandra, 21. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Jim Rupp-Calvis.
Thank you very much for that great introduction. I really appreciate it, and as I hear that, it just reminds me how old I am. And so with that, I'm very honored and humbled to be here today to provide some remarks about military service as we honor our veterans. And what I'd like to do first, before I get into any of my prepared remarks, is a little bit of a twist on what the principal did. So if I could, anybody who is a veteran, raise your hand. Okay? And it's not just veterans who serve, and so I want to make sure that we recognize our military families as well. So anybody in the audience who is a spouse or child of a veteran, please raise your hand. All right, there's a lot of us. And so everybody who raised their hands, please stay seated. And everybody who didn't raise your hand, if you could please stand up. So this is how important I think our veterans are. I would like everybody to give the people who are seated a standing ovation for their service and sacrifice. Yeah, I appreciate that. You can take your seats now. I had that pictured being a little more disruptive with a group of students, so I appreciate your cooperation with that. But again, that's how I see our veterans and their families and their service and sacrifices as important. Today we celebrate Veterans Day and recognize all those who have served our nation with honor and distinction. Veterans have earned our undying gratitude, and we will never forget their sacrifices. We honor all who answered the call to serve. Veterans have a positive impact on their communities, and their service equips them with valuable skills and experiences. By sharing their positive experiences in the military, veterans can educate the public and encourage the next generation to serve. The United States military values and cares for its veterans, both during and after their service. In fact, about half of the civilians working in the Army, and I will apologize that this may be a little Army-centric, but there's a saying that you go with what you know, and so after 30 years of Army service, it's what I know. About half of the civilians working in the Army are veterans, or what we also call soldiers for life. Duty to our country is one reason we serve in the military. It opens a path for a lifetime of service. The U.S. military offers diverse opportunities for rewarding and dynamic careers of service. Service members can choose from a wide variety of jobs and careers. They make lifelong connections. This experience makes them invaluable contributors to their organizations and communities once they leave the service. Currently, only 1%, and this fact always baffles me, but currently only 1% of our nation serves in the military. And 61% of those who serve, so 61% of that 1%, are likely to have chosen service because they've been exposed to military life from a family member or friend in their community. So it's an indicator that veterans have first-hand knowledge of the benefits of military service and can bridge the gap between those who are familiar with military life and those who have never considered the military as a career. So if you're a veteran, I encourage you to continue to share your positive stories about your service this Veterans Day and every day, because veteran stories connect the 99% of America who doesn't serve with those who have chosen to serve and inspire the next generation. Many of our surviving veterans are members of what we call an all-volunteer force. Some of you also may not be part of that, but you know, from the time of service when I came in, it's been an all-volunteer military. And so for those unfamiliar with the military, when we say all-volunteer force, we don't mean that we're serving for free. Nope, that's not the case. Military members choose to serve. We get a paycheck, we get other benefits, but that's really not why we serve. It's because we have a commitment to something bigger than ourselves. Yet more than that, the military sets conditions for being part of a close-knit community held together by lifelong bonds with fellow service members and veterans. At that point, from my perspective, your life and your career path have no limits, whether you choose to stay in the military or not. And the strength of our force is reflected in the quality and professionalism of our people. So if you are a veteran who served our country again, I would like to personally say thank you for your commitment to keeping our country safe and for being part of the best military in the world. In the Army, we consider our greatest asset to be our people, and our all-volunteer Army is a credit to Americans of all races, genders, and creeds. Our common commitment to defense and love of country binds us together and unifies us. That goes to the heart of what it means to be an American. As a nation, we must ensure that the service and sacrifice of our veterans is never overlooked or forgotten. The Army believes that every soldier is a soldier for life and is committed to removing barriers to their success both in and out of the Army. In the United States, we have about 18 million veterans who have served, about 7% of the adult population, and their service spans from World War II to our latest conflicts in the Middle East. On Veterans Day, again, we honor these brave men and women from all walks of life who have stepped forward to defend our nation throughout history. Also, the U.S. now has the largest population of young veterans since the Vietnam War. We owe it to these men and women and all veterans to ensure that as they transition from their careers in the military to the civilian workforce or to civilian service, that we help them, one, in finding employment, two, in finding and helping them transition to civilian service, and ensuring that we integrate them into our communities wherever they come from. Finally, regardless of the military branch in which your veterans have served, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guardmen, or our newest Space Force, this day belongs to them. Generations of patriots for the last 249 years have dedicated themselves to the defense of our country to make us stronger and more resilient as a nation. Our nation's veterans throughout our history have kept us free and returned home and continue to serve the nation in a multitude of ways. Today we say thank you to all of them. Again, thank you for inviting me here today. I'd like one more round of applause for our veterans and their families. Thank you for your service.
We will now have the West Brunswick dance team perform Used to Be. We would now like to present a gift to Colonel Rob Calvis. Sir, on behalf of our JROTC program, I would like to present you with a certificate of appreciation, a highly sought after Trojan ball cap, and a Starbucks gift card. Next, we'd like to present a certificate of appreciation to the Brunswick Quilters. Thank you for being with us today and supporting our local veterans. Now for a round of applause. Next, we'd like to present Starbucks gift cards to First Sergeant Lynch for his toast to the flag performance and Mr. Nathan Evers, Focus Broadband, for always supporting our annual Veterans Day ceremony. Now for a round of applause for everyone that has been given their gifts.
Every year, on the 11th day of the 11th month, as an entire nation, we use this time to show our utmost appreciation to the men and women who have served in our armed forces. In this moment, we would like to acknowledge the heroes who put their life in danger and those who give their life for the betterment and prosperity of our nation. We give you thanks. Every year, we dedicate this time to lay a wreath and to commemorate every member of the services. This Veterans Day implicitly belongs to those service members and their loved ones. This goes to every father and mother, husband or wife, the brothers and sisters, the friend or companion who will leave here today, continue on, and kneel before the burial site of the men and women they love. In account of my fellow Americans, I state that the memory of those you loved are in our hearts, as well as yours, as their sacrifice is all but forgotten. It is sacrifice that molded our nation. At the time of our founding fathers, we had militias of patriots who were willing to serve, and this trend carries on into modern times. Anytime America has faced the tragedy of an attack, we do not cower in the face of our opposition. Whether it is on our own soil or across the world, our armed forces and their families have been willing enough to stand for what is right and defend our robust promise to preserve and protect our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Today, as a proud nation, we expressed our utmost recognition to our service members. No matter how big the parade or celebration may be, nothing compares to the respect and gratitude that you all deserve. In this, we commit more than just one day a year to giving thanks, but every day of every year to repay what you have done for us. As Ronald Reagan once said, "Those who live today remember those who do not. Those who know freedom remember today those who gave up life for freedom." Thank you so much for your dedication and service to our great nation. At this time, the West Brunswick Chorus will perform the service songs, and we'd ask the veterans in attendance to please stand when your service song is played.
United States Army. United States Marines.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. First we fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
United States Navy.
Anchors aweigh, my boys, anchors aweigh. Farewell to foreign shores, we sail at break of day, 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 day. Our last night on shore, drink to the vow, until we meet again. Here's wishing you a happy
United States Space Force.
Mighty watchful eye, there are the ends beyond the blue. The invisible front line, war fighters brave and true. From the reaching into space, there's no limit to our skies. Stay imagining night and day, when the Space Force will arrive.
United States Coast Guard.
We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, God shall our purpose be. Simple righteous is our guide, our faith and glory too. To rise and sing and fight and turn back our silver love for you.
At this time, please stand.
You gotta get on up and
Now,
get down.
devote your attention to the playing of taps by Cesar Hernandez Reyes. Can we now have a moment of silence for those who have fallen? This concludes the Veterans Day ceremony. Thanks again for coming.
Don't move, don't move, don't move. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Don't move, don't move, don't move.